Hi, my name is KaitlinWills. For my Behaviorist bio project, I will be summarizing the work of Fred Keller. A basic introduction. Fred Keller lived from January 2nd, 1899 to February 2nd, 1996. He is well known for his personalized system of instruction, or PSI for short. He used mostly animals, but some people for his research. Keller also focused on delayed reinforcement and using reinforcement theory. His contributions to literature. His early work, Animals and Children, he examined using animal subjects versus people subjects. The other early work here is this last one, Wilson and Keller in 1953. That was on the delayed reinforcement. And then he comes up here to his 1968 Goodbye Teacher and develops his personalized system of instruction. Then the follow-up to that is this 1974, 10 Years of Personalized Instruction, where he really examines it further. And then this one in 1985, Lightning Strikes Twice, is an outlier to his work where he says essentially that PSI is too expensive to implement and hasn't shown enough effectiveness, so he focuses on group instruction, genetics, and environmental factors. Some summary of his literature. Fred Keller's personalized system of instruction breaks down large lessons into smaller units, is self-paced. Learners must pass a test to move on to new concepts. They're student proctors so that they can receive immediate feedback and defend wrong answers to the proctors. And lectures occur after passing the test on materials. PSI proved effective when implemented in undergrad and graduate levels first, and then was later applied to elementary grades. Keller was focused on learners meeting milestones, self-pacing, using those proctors, and the unit sizes, and then how PSI applied to many levels of instructions and across many disciplines. He later did a review of a study of group instruction with pigeons that focused on teaching a 12-link chain of obstacles. This is his outlier article, Lightning Strikes Twice. The pigeons were either well-bred or poor-bred, and then Keller was interested in how that, along with the group instruction, affected their performance on learning the chain of obstacles. So they were put into classroom setting with desks and breaks between them. This study changed his focus from personalized system of instruction to group instruction and a focus on genetics and environment. The results were that the well-bred pigeon learned the chain of obstacles an average of 0.56, and the poor-bred pigeons performed with an average of 0.25. At the end of this paper, he discusses looking into leadership traits and group instruction due to how expensive PSI is to implement and lack of information to show its effectiveness. And then some of his early work, Keller focused on delaying reinforcement in a study on rats. Researchers used a Skinner box to train rats to push a lever to receive food pellets. Researchers delayed reinforcement 10 to 30 seconds. The study found that as reinforcement interval delay went up, the responses went down, and then other behaviors began to occur. Every animal in the study exhibited what they called collateral behaviors, including drinking water, grooming themselves, and then climbing on the cages when reinforcement was denied or delayed. Another early work, when looking at reinforcement, Keller compares using animals subjects versus human subjects, and that the benefits for humans would be greater but has limitations for ethical considerations. Keller explains that using animal subjects creates a lack of research in the areas of verbal and social behaviors, but he doesn't discount the amount of other information animal subjects have provided in reference to reinforcement in that specific article. My mock interview questions. So my first one is, was it hard to write your lightning strikes twice article, essentially discrediting your previous work? My next question would be, you said in some of your work that you would have preferred human subjects but chose not to use them due to ethical considerations. How could that have changed your research or the focus of your research? How would your early research on instruction have influenced your research on leadership traits and group instruction? My next one is, in your article of 10 years of personalized instructions, you discuss the effectiveness of PSI. What do you believe was its biggest shortcoming? And the last question was, who was your biggest influence when conducting research? Some implications of his work. So a common theme in most of his research is a call for education reform. Some of his implementation of instruction is still used today. The structure of ABA therapy sessions is similar to the basic principles of PSI. So lessons are broken down into smaller units, and then learners must show mastery of criteria before moving on to new skills and building those new skills. I've found that there are even some similarities in the structure of our class. The lessons are chunked. We have student proctors that give us immediate feedback, or essentially immediate feedback. Lessons are done and then we get a lecture, so the clarifying lectures, and then we must show mastery before moving on, so you have to have at least a B- before moving on to higher level classes. And then here are all of those articles again and the research page. Thanks.